Okay, folks, good evening. Wednesday evening, I think it's Wednesday, something like that. And let's get down to business. Let's get rolling, so we can get some stuff figured out. I had a couple things I got to report on. Hey, Nordic, you're invisible. You don't show up as a viewer there. Oh well, technology's great when it works. So I got a couple new things to report on. I ordered these dark green shrubs, which I was out of. I did not want to go to the next town, which is about 30 miles away, and I paid too much for these. You know, I paid almost $10 for these, plus like $7 shipping. So, yeah, I overpaid for them. This is a $8 item, but I'm going to make sure that if I go to the show and somebody has one in April, I'm probably going to pick up 2 packs of these, maybe even 3. I don't want to run out of these things. So, anyhow, but we have them, and they're exactly the same shade as the other ones, so that's good. So we're going to set these off to the side. I picked these up from eBay from a company called Mindtaker Miniatures. Yeah, they took more than the mine. Actually, they ship really quick. They ship really quick, but I don't want to order that kind. I don't want to pay $7 for shipping. So I also didn't want to run out. So yes, I paid too much, but I didn't want to sit there and idle for a month. That's worse. So because we're on a tear. I sprayed these guys down, so they're all sealed. They're all sealed with flat. So that's what we're going to do is we're going to put these guys on stands. I painted my crew, or one of the crew members, in plastic. And I used the polyurethane surface primer. And I watched several things about what to seal them with, and they recommended Liquitex Matte Medium. So that's what I did. I brushed him about an hour or so ago. Let's see what we got here. See if we can find where he is. I need to get a little closer. He's still a little shiny. It's actually shinier now than before I did this, so I don't know where to go with it. I'm just going to leave him alone for now. However, this guy's got a great freaking face. This is probably the roughest figure I have as far as having to chop away the plastic, and you can see here on the middle of his back, see how it's kind of rough there? That's the roughest one I have. So, and even then, this guy turned out really good. These figures are definitely worth doing. He's just a little shiny, so I'm going to let him dry for a couple days and see if the shine comes off of him a little bit. But it looked like it took some of the bounce off of him, so that's good. But I'm pretty happy with them. These guys aren't going to be named because they're going to be, shared amongst all the crew members until they bail out. And okay. Marcus, hey there. Yeah, this figures are actually really good. It's funny, unless I zoom in with the camera, I can't really get it to zoom in here. It's actually a really good figure. So, I'm not too worried about the shine. I've got other things. I just want to make sure I use something acrylic so that we don't have crack issues. Okay? I'd rather him be shiny than the paint crack off of him. So, what else is new? Oh, I've solved the problem of the bigger bases because I'm out of this material, or I'm going to run out of this material. It's not that I'm going to run out. It actually doesn't. It only fits on these stands, not on the. I can't do any vehicles that are larger than that. So I went to Evergreen, and Evergreen actually makes, these are $4. I think this is, I was going to use plywood, but they don't make plywood thin enough, or they don't have it here. So I didn't want to use basswood. I know basswood's going to warp like a mow. So I had picked that up, and I was going to walk out the store, and I'm like, I'm going to see if they've got any Evergreen stuff. And sure enough, this stuff is 2 mil thick, and this is what we're going to use for basing it. And it's $4, and I don't know, maybe that's too much. I don't know. It's certainly going to be durable enough. I wish it was black, but we're probably going to paint it black before we do anything else to it. But anyhow, this should work just fine. So it's thick enough that we can do the T35. We can do the JS. That's probably what I'm going to do next, honestly, is probably that JSU 122 from PST. It's already built. It just needs to be put on a stand, you know. And you decided to calm yourself down after flipping out on the Blue Moon miniatures. So I can sell or trade them, see if I can paint them. There's no point in suffering. No point in suffering. You're not going to get a chance to paint everything. Oh, this is the Liquitex stuff that I got. This is actually the small container. So hopefully it's not shiny all the time, because this would be a great thing to like seal buildings with, but it is what it is. How thick is that plastic card? 2 mil. Yeah, I would use plastic. It doesn't warp. Yeah, I'm going to put the goop, which is a very wet thing. I don't want to even worry about it, you know? Yeah, it's the thickest one that they had in the store. They had it at Hobby Lobby. And yeah, 1.5 mil and also 2. And I think this is a little thicker than what I'm normally using. Well, maybe it isn't. But it's going to be bigger vehicles that are going to be on this. And, oh, F it, I bought it. Let's open it up. Oh, it's going to be hard to cut with that. We can throw this one away because we still have another one. No, it's like the same thickness. $2 mil. 2 mil or 0.08 of an inch. Yeah. That's when you're dealing with stuff like this, metric's the way to go. Screw inches. So, perfect. So, I took the last 2 that they had. So, this is definitely the way to go forward with it. And it's $4. It's not terrible. I mean, you know, I'm spending a lot of time doing these things. They might as well look good when I'm done with it. Okay, so yeah. So let's put these guys on the card. And hopefully I haven't waited too long and it's too hard. I don't think so. No, it's still mushy. Now the question is, can I see where I cut it? How wide are we going? That wide? Okay. You'll have a lot of stability with Yahoo gel and then the magnet on the bottom. Absolutely. That's the way to go. I don't know why I was overthinking it. I wanted it to be black, like the other ones, you know, but I guess you just gotta can't have everything you want there. Okay, it's about right there. Let's scoop some of this out. So before I go and build the 222s, I'm probably going to go ahead and base the T35, which is ready to go except for that. And the JSU 122, I'm probably going to paint that one because that's a nice big juicy model. That's one with terrible instructions from PST. Probably the worst instructions of anything I've ever built. Maybe it's a East European thing to have bad instructions. But that thing's old. I got that when the Soviet Union fell. So I'm playing Bachelor the next, let's see, tonight, tomorrow night, which is Thursday, right? Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. There are no girls here. So if you show up with your woman's hearing, Nordic, the only thing you're going to hear in the other room is if it's somebody's breaking in to come rape me. I don't live in a place for that. That's likely to happen. Okay, I think this pretty much nails this one shut. He'd have a hell of a drive. All right. That one's down. You know what? I better do the one that goes with each one, just to avoid any potential problems whatsoever. Yeah, I paid too much for those bushes, but you know what? It's better than waiting for them and waiting a month or 5 weeks for them and then peter out my interest. Well, it'll be interesting what happens with DBA because they've submitted some games in the next show of DBA, but only 2 games. So instead of like 7 that I normally run, so. I showed people how to do it, so it's on them now. I don't want it to fall apart. I just don't want it to be. I just don't want to deal with it anymore. It's not like I harbor any ill feelings. I just. That happened up in Ohio. There was a guy that was putting everything together in Ohio. Now the difference between him and me is, he had a problem with playing in tournaments. I can tell you right now, I'm not going to pay to go to a con, supply the awards, supply prizes, and not play. That's stupid. Okay? but nobody took his place, and it just kind of folded, and people went somewhere else. You know, it's not that difficult to run stuff. I'm just tired of, hey, when are you going to put your games in? I know you want to run something, put them in so I can advertise it. You know, it was just got tired of playing minority whip or majority whip, whichever way you want to swing it. So I will no longer be running games at cons. I'll run games here, where I'm not rushed to take them apart and I'm not rushed to put them together. You're going to play Triumph again next week. My condolences. There's some things I like about it. I just don't like that they won't mention what their inspiration is from. Like they're going to get sued or something. Well, if you're worried about getting sued, maybe you shouldn't have charged for the rules that other people are instrumental in coming up with ideas for, but yet you're not going to credit them. It just doesn't sit well with me. I wish they just wouldn't have done that. You know, it's not like anybody's going to make any money off this stuff. But nobody in Florida wanted to play it. So even if Mitch and I loved Triumph, which we didn't, nobody, we'd be playing it here by ourselves. Okay, this one goes here. And I thought more about it, and I'm like, I'm putting way too much effort in the stuff that I paint for any game that is just vague and doesn't have the detail that I'm willing to put into my figures. So it's not like, I'm going to do knights. Okay, just spray them silver. That's not me. If that's how I was going to paint, then I'd just give up painting. That's pointless. You know? I mean, that's like having a cooking show. And on the cooking show, the person making the meals is doing microwave macaroni. It's kind of pointless. Never accept flowers from a communist. That's right. They like to date on the first. They like to rape you on the first date. No. Never accept flowers from a communist. Or a Nazi either. Just because we don't like communists doesn't mean we like the other guys. It's the same. It's the same freaking coin. So there's 3 of those figures that come in the pack. I'm going to make one of them Blue Bouquet. He can be the guy from the... He can be the singing telegram guy. You remember that old movie? Man, I saw it in the movie theater. The Fisher King. And they got the one guy that is a singing telegram guy. It's one of those guys that's like, he ends up like cross-dressing, and he's already an ugly guy, and he makes an even uglier girl. You know? Yeah. Watch that. If that's a pretty good movie. Well, I haven't seen it in a long time. Jeff Bridges and Robin Williams, and about 1991, The Fisher King. I remember liking it in the movie theater. It's a pretty funny movie. There's this singing telegram dude on there that's... You love that movie. Okay, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it's gonna... The singing telegram guy. I haven't seen it in a long time. Saw it in a movie theater and I saw it once afterwards. 91, 92, 93, something like that. You like New York in June. How about you? Well, I don't remember. I'm terrible about lines. Is that a line in there? I don't remember. I'm terrible about remembering lines. Hey, actors don't remember what I talk about. I'm not going to remember what they say. Back at you. It's hot as hell in New York. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in New York when it's raining. All that filth that was on the sidewalk and in the streets would be all up on you. I went at the perfect time. And I did like it, but I wouldn't want to live there. But we also avoided crowds. Like, the girls wanted to eat at Tavern on the Green. So we got there like 20 minutes before it opened. Waited 20 minutes, no problem getting a seat. You know, had the only thing we did that kind of went sideways was the Museum of Natural History. There was just too many people there. Now, of all the things that kind of went sideways, that's probably my preference to have gone sideways because I had already been there. You know, and before. But there were just way too many people. So that was the only big loss, so to speak, that we had. Paid a whole lot of money to not see anything, but whatever. Everything else on the trip went great, so. You know, the main thing is if you're going to go on a trip, be flexible. Don't be like, we got to do this today and we got to do it at this time. Like, you know, maybe the conditions aren't right for it. You know, be flexible and hustle. The rain cleans it up. Well, I was perfectly happy walking, but not with an umbrella. One more to do. Upper West Side. You live over by the museum, I guess. But, you know, there wasn't time to go to the Met. I'm like, we could have just done the Met, but I looked at it, and some things there would have been pretty cool. We just didn't have time to do it all. So I just looked at pictures that people took on the Google site, see what I missed out on. There's some things I would have liked there. Now the MoMA would have been good for my daughter and I to go laugh at things. Not everything there, because they've got Van Gogh, and Van Gogh's not worth laughing at, but there's some other things that are just, you know, hacks. I'll say it, I don't care. Art, poetry. What is it? Well, what do you want it to be? Wrong answer. All right, let's see how we did here. Yeah, we cut off a little bit too much there, but that's not something that just an easy fix will take care of. Honestly, pretty good to go. Let's get Mr. Vac. Let's get the sucker. All right, and it's epoxy time. This thing's about ready to be retired. I'm gonna retire it. So much wastage on epoxy. Uh-oh. Houston, we have a problem. This one's not leaking, but this one is, but it doesn't look like it was. Oh, shit. The top of it is cut. Well, we just won't be able to store it upside down anymore. You know? Yeah, we don't need to deal with this mess every time we do something. Alright, we'll just store this right side up. Let's put the other one down, and we're gonna... let's just wipe this down. Just don't want to get this shit on something else. See? We got problems here, and we got to deal with them. Not one of those heavily edited shows. No big deal, just wasn't expecting that. Well, now we've put a dent on this. Good. I think I know where I got these. I'd like to get the same ones again. like watching a live baseball game. Actually, my earliest memories of the Phillies. What's your local team, right? You got that, and you got what? The Pirates in Philadelphia? I mean, in Pennsylvania? Baseball and softball, I think, are fun games to play, but not to watch. I'm not interested in watching them. And there's no cheerleaders either, so that can't even get you by. Can't even pass the time with the cheerleaders. You know, I've been to a basketball game. I don't care about basketball, but the cheerleaders are cute. Just saying. From that day on, I've utterly hated most Philly fans and all the Philly teams. Sports fans suck. They are. Sports fans are really similar to people that are gamers that are crybabies. I live in a town that sports are a big deal for the folks here. A huge deal. And there are some cheating, good for nothing, you know, it's okay for the call to be made, you know, as long as it's in your favor. Bunch of dishonorable folks here. Not everybody, but man, I've encountered a shitload of them. So I generally do not like sports fans. Because it just gets so emotional. And they don't even know any of the players, man. Just like those people that would complain. Hey, you're trying to win. I didn't win. Okay, 234 done. Next. And who decided that when things go well, you flip cars over? I can see you being a bad sport when your team loses and you flip cars over, but yes, we won. Let's go destroy property. What? Maybe I just have never done those kind of drugs. Well, that makes sense. Decided that with baseball encouraging gambling now, I'm actually going to stop watching sports in general. Just watch different sports. My YouTube recommendation says I should watch women's long jump. You get some of those videos, you know what I'm talking about. Let's make sure this thing's centered on here. I think I got 2 female snipers for the Russians. Boy, those are going to be fun to paint up and talk about it. Make your sandwich. Make your own damn sandwich. You know. You can have fun with that. They're pretty cool figures. Because I don't understand how people get emotional watching somebody else they don't know on TV. A video recommended from my YouTube that had a female Russian sniper from World War II, and she was a hot blonde. Did she have any teeth? Never accept flowers from a communist. Never give a communist flowers. And I also think that, there's communists and then there's Stalin. And I think Stalin is just like the biggest dirtbag of all the communists ever. Because I can respect they came together to defend their country. I can kind of respect that. But all the side shit that he did, backstabbed the Poles, made a deal with Hitler, attacked the Finns. All the allies came in and helped the Finns, and all of a sudden, oh, you attacked me. Yeah, we'll pay back hell, bitch. And unfortunately, it's the people in the middle that are suffering. But I still like painting their stuff. I don't know anybody that I would not play. Although I don't have any SS troops, so. But I'm probably going to build some at some point just for the challenge of painting them. Okay, so these guys need to percolate and dry. We have the 2 tank commanders painted. I'm not even going to try to salvage that epoxy. We'll just use other epoxy to glue these guys down. Got the extra glue that's on the bottom there. You won't need all that extra stuff on there. I'm probably going to need a little bit of touch up. But I don't know how durable these plastic figures are. They paint up pretty good, and I think I got it down how to trim them up now. After doing a few of them. Sitting down on the job, eh, Yuri? That's how we're going to put them down there. All right, do I have any that could survive? Nah, just got too dry. We'll glue them at a later date. That kind of damsel flowers don't work on. Gotta up your game to some heavy weaponry. To do some Winter War gaming was one of those niche parts of World War II seldom explored by gamers. The Finns don't have their own tanks. That's why I have no interest in it. They're just Germans without tanks. The Finns only get tanks if they capture Russian ones. And then they're just, Russian tanks with swastikas on them. They're not even a different paint scheme. Okay, these guys are we're going to let these guys dry until that epoxy's set well. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do, damn it. We're going to paint the base on this guy. But I don't really want to grab the figure a whole lot. We're going to paint him on there. 2 viewers, slow night. All right, this is the chocolate brown. They actually have a Winter War variant for that Gates of Hell Lost front. I just haven't gotten it. I better play another game of those soon. I'm gonna forget how to freaking play the game again. I'm gonna forget what keys to touch. But I've just been on a tear doing this, and I don't mind. Now, I think on these figures, I'm not going to use static grass. I've seen other people do it, and I kind of like not having static grass on there. Meaning, we're just going to paint this stuff like dirt, and then we're going to put the little clumps. We're going to put tufts. I think it looks better. So we'll give that a shot. Looking forward to seeing the DML armored cars being built. The kits look real nice. We'll do them. We're only going to do one at a time in case there's something that I discover on the way to doing the other one. I'd hate to have to, try to fix them both, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I think we're going to use them as filler. Like, if I'm going to paint the JSU 122 next, I got to prime it. And while the prime's waiting, build armored car. Okay, the primer's ready. We got to paint, we got to paint it, that kind of thing. There's waiting time in between tasks. So, okay. That's what this guy's going to look like. Move him off to the side. I don't know how long I'm going to last. I'm pretty tired. It's 9 o'clock, so maybe we can make it to 10. That'd be pretty cool. After that, that's too big an ask. Let's see. Tony, I know you've answered this before, but what is the thing you have the Mini attached to paint easier? This is just one of those scrapers. you know, that has a razor blade in it. This one may not have a razor blade in it. Yeah, it does. Like, you know, you could scrape like windows or something like that. Like if you get paint on the windows and, you know, it's metallic and it just allows you to not get it on there. They're really handy, you know, and just about everybody's got one of them laying around. It was forged from the first McNugget spatula. Spatula oblongata. Joe Coton, you coming over this weekend? You coming over on Saturday? I'm probably not going to be there again on Monday. The girls come back on Monday. Mondays just aren't working out for me lately. Okay, so the T-34s are drying. That figure's drying. Where do we go next? Let's paint another gun crew guy. I'd like to paint all these gun crew guys before I move on to another vehicle. So, let's grab this guy and a pistol. Pistolero. All right. You offering. What am I offering? You're offering, my son. What? Let's get some more black out here. I think that black's about dead. Mm-hmm. Nothing. Too much. All right, what's the one that we use? I think it's this one that we use it overall. All right, so let's get most of the jacket color, and we're going to do a little darker one than we did. I like to vary the colors of them. Just going to paint this dark blue. And we'll give this guy a black leather helmet cover instead of a brown one. Just mix them up. That's the only problem with Vallejo paint droppers. Yeah, it happens. I just wasted too much. Oh well. It's still better than anything else. A manager in Arizona. Is he your manager? They should have canned him. Problem solved. Don't get me wrong, I like this time change a lot better. I mean, I don't like driving to work in the dark, but I'd rather not get home when it's dark. Yep. Yeah, the time change was really weird this time because what happened is we sprung forward, right? And my body had the opposite reaction. We sprung forward, and instead of me being like, oh, and I was more energetic to stay up later, I wanted to go to bed earlier. It's just weird. Just really, really weird. Well, I got a lot of stuff to do this weekend. Well, I want to paint. I got a game day on Saturday. And then there's a Diablo 4 open beta is this weekend. I'd never done one of those. But apparently everybody can play it this weekend. Obviously, if you pre-bought it. And the girls are gone. Well, my daughter's not interested in playing it, but my wife is. And I think they're doing it again the following weekend. So she'll have to get in on that. But you can't carry any of the characters over. So you create a character and it's gone. So I'm not talking to you guys about that. No, none of you guys said that you played Diablo. I don't know. I don't know why, but you know. Only my favorite. Nobody plays the video games I play. Nobody plays the video games that I play. Nobody plays Diablo or Borderlands, or what's the other one? State of Decay. Well, you got to have an Xbox for that one. That's an Xbox exclusive. Those have been some of my favorite games. Some kind of big boss. Yeah, I don't care about big bosses. Not a fan of those types of games. Well, I don't like role-playing games where you have to go and so talk to somebody, and then you sit there, and then, there's got to be some action. Those games remind me of what D&D type games should be. Tactical combat. Not some kind of a conversation. Well, I don't want to have a nerdy conversation. JRPG. What the hell is the J part? Fallout. See, I didn't like Elder Scrolls or Fallout. Japanese role-playing game. Oh, okay. Everybody going around with eyes like this. Big eyes. Yeah, I don't like games where there's too much stuff where I've got to manage. I hate stuff like StarCraft. I hate that shit. Okay, go over here and do this, and then you go over here and I feel like freaking Manstein, and I'm like 10 Panzer Division short. I'm like, what the hell? You go over here to try to put out a fire, and you come back. What the hell have you guys done? I'm like, no, this is like work. Japanese role-playing game. You mean like Final Fantasy? I don't like boss fights. I don't like jumping games. Something like that's heavy in jumping games, like say Mario Brothers. There's stress causing. I know exactly what I need to do, but I can't do it. Nope. No, not a fan of that stuff. I don't like boss fights. So Dragon Quest. Never heard of it. Better have dragons in it. I generally don't like turn-based games because you have too much advantage over the computer. It's too easy. And they also put you to sleep. because there's just not enough going on. But you know, there's all kinds of stuff. There's a game on. I subscribe to a page, to a Facebook page that's like computer games, strategy and tactical or something like that. And there's this game that everybody was raving about. I forget what the hell it was called, but it was a game where you are managing like a colony on another planet, and you have to build everything from it. So just imagine like Civilization, but like on another planet, and it's turn based. And I was like bored. I'm just like, this is just not for me, you know. Mitch is hosting it. Yeah, he's actually not working again on a Saturday, and we're playing another rapid fire game. Well, so the other one was fun, but it's not like I'm dying to play that rule set. It's it's a little lacking in detail. It's okay. I get around to doing mine. Mine's anything but lacking in detail. Yeah, he's got more days off than God. They just feel sorry for him because he's got to wear a hairnet. So they give him a bunch of days off so he doesn't stage a revolution. Yeah, it works at a grocery store. And there's guys that have like beards and they got to put it like one of those nets on their beard. There's a good reason not to have a beard. Um, what was I going to say? Splendors. Yeah, I don't know what the hell I was going to say. But the girls are gone for like 5 days. I'm going to try to be productive. It took me a little time to get on today because I had to go get these things at the store, and then I had to pick things up so that I had to straighten out the what do you call it, the sink, because I don't want to have to look at that for 5 days. And if I'm not going to do it today, then I just loaded the dishwasher, and because I'm one of those people, if there's too much chaos in the house, I just can't think, man. I go crazy. And it's not that I'm a neat freak. I'm not, but you know, when you're looking for something, it drives you crazy if you have to look past like three other things and find it. It's a little traumatic, frustrating when you can't find something that's right in front of you because you have to like tune all other things out. So God, the scoring of Carcassonne is just. What's the one I hate? The markets? God, I hate doing the scoring of the markets. I actually had that game on Xbox. I played it one time in live, and I'm like, okay. And I played it a lot. I haven't played it in a long time, but I played a lot on Xbox. It's a pretty fun game, you know. But I like that it does all the scoring because you can't screw it up, you know. It's the one thing that gets scored at the end of the game, and I'm like, I just can't. You know, by the time those come in, it's like a game within a game trying to figure out where the scoring is, and If I lose, it's because somebody else has more of those than anything else. No, not the cities. The last thing that scores. I can't wrap my head around it, what it is. I'll tell you what it is. I think it's a fun game. Carcassonne scoring. Should be a name of a city in Italy. Okay, here's the rules. I think it's the fields. It's the fields that drive me freaking nuts. You think you're way ahead, and then some dickhead comes in and outscores you because of the freaking fields. I think that's what it is. I don't know. It's on the video game, the last thing that scores. No, not the completed cities. That one makes sense. It's the other one that you kind of have to squint your brain to see what the hell's going on. It's a fun game. I just, Yep, it's in France. It's in the southern part of France. Yeah, the fields are a pain. They're a pain to get right. It's easy to forget them. But it's a fun game, though. I've played it, I don't know, I've probably played it 60 times. Maybe longer, maybe more times than that. But on Xbox, like I said, I don't do all the scoring, but it still tells you how you do it. Like, frick, I missed. How did he come up? And, But it's a fun game. It's a fun game to, it's a pretty fun game to play, even if you don't win. Like, just the process that you have to do to get along there is a fun game. You always have fun in those games, whether win or not. I love playing Euro-style worker placement games. I generally don't. My favorite Euro-style game, without a doubt, is a game called Wallenstein. And it is freaking amazing. It is an amazing game. And it does have combat. It's very vague, but... So the concept is... I'm really shitty at explaining things, so you just have to... Looking forward to Friday night event. We'll have your penny project and whiskey ready. There you go. I'm not even Irish, but honorary Irish. The way Wallenstein works is imagine a game kind of like, I guess it's kind of like Risk. But it isn't. The map is just all of Germany, and there's probably, 24 zones. And they're subdivided in like 4 or 5 regions. I think 5 regions. So, you got the purple ones and the blue ones, and you've got, red ones, yellow ones, whatever. So you get a certain amount of points at the end of the game by how many you control, and you get a certain amount of points for each one of those, and also for control of the region or most regions. It's just your typical stuff. But how you get there is... you find, and I think you can randomly pull it or whatever, but you randomly assign some of the nations depending on how many some of the zones depending on how many people you have, kind of like Risk. You might end up with Brazil, but also have Western Australia kind of thing. So you've got your forces split amongst amongst your places, and you get armies, which just are cubes that you could put in. You take turns putting them around. So you start with some random start, whatever. Nothing really exciting or unique there. Nothing really exciting or unique about that process so far, but they're little wooden cubes that you put on there based on each person. It's supposed to represent something in the 30 Years' War, but it really could be anything. Nothing surprising there. Then you get into the meat and potatoes of the game. The meat and potatoes of the game, I think there's 8 to 10 phases, or there's 8 or 10 things you can do in a game. Okay, and you have a card for each one, and they might be collect taxes, raise armies, move armies, collect grain, because you've got like grain and army, and there might be a couple different resources you have. Nothing super complicated, but you have a couple different phases. So you have all these phases where you can do. There's like 10 of them, and or 8 or whatever, and I think it's 10 actually. So what happens is there's a card for each one. So you shuffle them up and put them out, and you know what order the first 5 are, but the last 5 are face down. Okay, so you have to plan how you're going to play your game based on not knowing how the second half of the turn is going to go. So, like for instance, you might have a move army but raise armies afterwards, so you may not want to go on the attack somewhere because you can't get new armies anyways. So that's kind of a unique thing that you don't know how that's going to play out. But the really interesting thing about the game is the way the combat works is if you have 2 red units and 2 blue units and they fight each other, they each will eliminate 1. So if there's 3 red and 2 blue in a zone, you'll end up with 1 red left over and the blue ones are completely gone. That's how the combat works. There's no die rolls in the combat. What there is when you move those 3 red units into the zone that has the 2 blue units, you take all 5 of those pieces and you drop them into this tower. And this tower has baffles in it. It's a little wooden tower or whatever. And some of the pieces will stay in the tower, and some of the pieces will come out of the tower. And whatever comes down at the foot of the tower, just like if you're rolling in a dice tower, whatever comes out at the bottom is what ends up fighting each other. And so you may put 3 reds and 2 blues, and one of the red ones stay in there, and it's just 2 reds and 2 blues, and they eliminate each other, and there's nobody left in that zone. But there is another red still in the tower that could come out later on another combat. So that's kind of unique, is that you don't ever clean the tower out. Eventually, some of them will knock a piece out that's stuck in there, but there's some randomness to it, and that's what's really cool about the game, is the fact that not all of your units may come out. And it just represents raising armies, and then all of a sudden, they go off in the countryside and do something else, and then they come back later. So that concept between, and also the random, you don't know when things are going to happen, makes a really cool freaking game, and it's a lot of fun to play. The whole process of playing the game is a lot of fun. So. We're going to name the name of the company. What are we going to name it? The Gamers. What? Come on, you could do better than that. I don't like this painting, man. It's taking Time goes by way too quick while I'm painting. Like, how the hell is it almost 10 o'clock? I was saying the other night, it just surprises me when people are savvy enough to have a successful business, but just put no effort into naming the business. There was a guy one time that I ran into. It was one of my favorite things, and I probably mentioned it on here before. There's this local guy. He's got a panel van. On the headliner of his panel van, he's got written in backwards, kind of like ambulance, right? So when you see it in your rearview mirror, you can read it, right? Because it's backwards. It's reversed, whatever. It says blind man driving. You think, what the hell, a blind man? Well, the name of his company is The Blind Man, and he does blinds. And I think that's freaking brilliant. It's succinct, yet it's brilliant. There's another one that's a landscape company, and it's called the Lawn Enforcement Agency. And it's got all the same colors as our local sheriff has. It even has like a badge on there, lawn enforcement agent. I think it's agency, yeah. It's not company, it's agency. I mean, that's some catchy shit right there. This takes entirely too long. You've officially been working from home for 3 years. I can't believe it. You know how much money that saved you? Just in wear and tear, gasoline. I don't know if you had a long commute, but that's huge. Well, I gotta use electricity at home. Yeah, well, you can work in your underwear if you want to, you know? And, by working in your underwear, I mean, you can put on a pair of shorts and a t shirt. You can be comfortable. You can work in loungewear. And that, in my opinion, has a huge value. And you can keep your workplace at whatever temperature you want it to be. Definitely, it was like a 20-25 minutes drive to work, depending on traffic. Yeah, that's, you know. So I lease cars, right? Because I don't want any problems on a car. And just driving to and from work each year, I'm consuming 8,000 miles a year. So 2/3 of my limit on my car mileage is just going to and from work. That's absurd. And I don't have that long of a commute. Mine's maybe 17 minutes each way. It's like due north from the house, but we got to go around this Sam Velasco Park that I guess people do drugs in there, and there's wild pigs in there. But other than that, no one's stinking up the bathroom. Yep. We had a guy in there when we worked in the small office. And some guy at 5 o'clock in the morning, they would come in and use the freaking bathroom and take a dump. It's like, are you like a tight ass and you don't want to spend freaking money on toilet paper at home? Who the hell takes a dump at 5? Well, first of all, who the hell takes a dump at work? I can't do it. I mean, I've done it, I think, 3 times in almost 30 years because it was like my stomach was upset and it was like either that or I was going to wear it. But, I do not find it comforting to do that business at work, you know? So, yeah, this guy would come in at like 5 o'clock in the morning, take a dump in the bathroom, stink up the whole office. Now we got a guy in the office though. It's I had a guy that did this to me at home. Like at the time that I lived, this was when I lived alone, and I had the deodorizing spray. Which really the best thing that works is matches. Just keep the thing of matches, light a couple of them off after you do that, and it'll burn all that, it'll burn all the stank out. But I didn't know about that at this time. It was the early '90s, and this guy went and used my bathroom, and and a couple pet peeves here that he did. He sprayed, okay, cool, and then he put the fan on, right? But then he left the door open with the fan running. So now you've got the shit smell, you've got the deodorized on top of the shit smell, and the fan noise, and all of it is wafting in the entire fucking house. I'm like, moron, moron, moron. You know? If you're going to run the fan, which those fans don't worth a damn, if you're going to run the fan, you got to keep the door closed. Otherwise, you're just making noise for everybody else. Have to do that at work sometimes because I have intestinal disease that makes me have to. Okay, well, you get a pass. And it's not like you want to do that. It's either that or you're going to wear it. So, but most people don't have your problem. Like I said, I think I've only done it 3 times in 30 years. I'm just not comfortable doing that. That and the toilet paper they use there is just garbage. Nobody's got plush toilet paper in their office. So we got a guy now that likes to use the bathroom and leaves the door open with a fan running at the office. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. I'm glad my door is not near the bathroom. That's just stupid, man. All you're doing is making more noise. Just what we need, more noise in the office. You rather not. I'm sure you didn't ask for that. Everybody's got something. I got the itchy skin. Everybody's got something. Everybody has something. Everybody's got something. Some people have a couple things. I went on a cruise one time. We met another couple. Well, we didn't meet them. We just sat there and ate and just kind of chit-chatting with them. And the woman, the wife, the significant other of the female persuasion, was allergic to garlic. Yeah, you're pretty much fucked. If you're allergic to garlic, so she's eating like a salad with no dressing, lettuce only, no dressing, because garlic's in everything. You can't get away from that. The meds I take don't always work. I was watching TV the other day, and I saw 2 commercials for the meds I'm on. And, which, my meds aren't life-threatening, but still, I don't have a copay for them, thank goodness. But if I had to pay them out of pocket, it'd be like $2,000 a month. I wouldn't be on them. I mean, it's not life-threatening. If it's life-threatening, you're either going to die or you got to take the medication. It's different, but, yeah. But I'm like seeing 2 commercials for my meds. I'm like, stop showing commercials of medication. You're creating more overhead for these pharmaceutical companies that then have to cover by overcharging for this medication that you end up having to take. I mean, sure, some of it is the research that they did, you know. But, you know, you've got these drug pushers that they have to pay to go everywhere. You've got these commercials. You know, commercials ain't cheap. Ask your doctor about, they don't even know what it is. You know, they want you to ask your doctor about anything. So you ask your doctor about it. You remember this long-winded name of medicine? You ask your doctor about it. Oh, you don't need that. That's for menstrual cramps. Well, why don't they tell me what the hell it's for? Sometimes they do. But sometimes they don't tell you what it's for, you know? Vaginal mesh. Yeah. They're just creating extra overhead that then they have to cover and pass on to you. Like Games Workshop. No more overhead. And I like they say, oh, it doesn't cost you anything. Yeah, it does. My insurance premiums, that's what it goes towards. And I have insurance, it's paying for that. I don't really use it to go to the MD, fortunately. And every time you got to get a refill from the dermatologist, you got to go see him, pay them the $60. They called me the other day. They said, "You're due for another appointment." I was sitting here thinking, well, wait a second. I don't need a refill on my medication, so you can go fly a kite until I need you to give me a renewal on it. You know, they just copay you to death. I don't have time to go to even if there's no copays. I don't want to go to the doctor. It takes time and effort to go to the doctor out of my schedule. You know, and they're not open on Saturdays and Sundays, you know, where it's convenient. Mesh to me reminds me of mosquito netting. What on earth is something like that doing down there? Catching all the bugs? Okay, I think we're going to leave this. Oh man, I wasn't expecting him to get. We want this guy darker, and his uniform darker, anyways. I think Sunday's going to be the day to work on those armored cars. I don't know, maybe Friday. We'll see. Whiskey and building armored cars. Maybe not be a good combination. Anyways, it's 10 minutes to 10. I'm going to call it a night because I do have to work tomorrow and the next day. So we're going to call this one right here. And we'll catch you guys soon and pick up where we left off. Armored Cars Sunday. Yeah, because I can run it for a long time and not be interrupted. Now, I got to take my mom to to the bus, so I'm probably not. I don't know how that's gonna work. She's got to be there like at 9:30 or something like that in the morning. So I may not start until later, because I don't want to get everybody started and then an hour later, hey, we got to cut off, and then I'll be back later. You know, I'm not a big fan of teasing everybody like that, but we should be on every day.